Hi, Erin O'Toole live here, just off of Parliament Hill. I haven't done a Facebook Live in a while, and I was driven to do this because we're on the eve of Canada Day, and now cancel culture, the radical left, is trying to cancel out the Canadian flag. We see our Peace Tower behind us, a flag brought by Lester Pearson, and something that signifies liberty, opportunity, rule of law. I wore it on my sleeve in my uniform of the Canadian Armed Forces. The Chronicle Herald a few days ago put a Canadian paper flag in their paper, but put a warning on the front page, a trigger warning that people might get upset by the injustice behind the Canadian flag. This is the latest example of cancel culture. When I launched my campaign in January, I said it's time for a conservative leader to stand up for that. We have the greatest country in the world. Is our history plagued with some problems and things we've learned from, we've tried to eliminate? Yes, it is. We learn from the past. We don't erase it. And that's what we have to do as Canadians. Our flag signifies all of the amazing opportunity that we have as Canadians. And we owe it, the ideals of our country, to make sure we're proud of our flag. We celebrate that. We particularly celebrate those who serve our country and represent the values and wear the flag on their uniform. To suggest as a national newspaper like the Chronicle Herald does that you have to warn people because as Canadians they're going to be upset by their own flag, we are turning into a grievance culture and this left approach of being embarrassed to be Canadian, we have to fight back against. And where did it start? I'm going to tell you where it started, but let me know where you're tuning in from. We've got great coverage on Facebook now. I know you're tuning in from all over. I'm looking at the Peace Tower in the background. Tomorrow is Canada Day. I've got a few events in my community of Durham tomorrow that I'm looking forward to. So let me know what you're doing for Canada Day. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I haven't done a Facebook Live in a while. And this Chronicle Herald warning about the Canadian flag really drove me to say the same thing I said in the park in Ottawa in January about fighting back against cancel culture and the radical left, trying to change our history, take down statues. That's one of the things I want to fight for. I'm very proud to have worn a uniform of service. I'm very proud to have stood up for Canadian history, working with people to support the Vimy Ridge Monument in France, both as a minister and as a volunteer. But it's been shameful to see Justin Trudeau and the Liberals engage in this very practice of historical revisionism, presentism, and really trying to change the past to suit the political ideals of today. Where did that start? It started right here. This is the Prime Minister's office. This was called Langevin Block when I was here. I've got great memories of this building. I remember the first time I was in it. I remember when Prime Minister Harper called me in for a meeting and asked me to be his Minister of Veterans Affairs. The Langevin Block signified just one of two French Canadians who were a father of Confederation. Hector Langevin and Georges-Étienne Cartier attended all three Confederation conferences, Charlottetown, Quebec City, and London, in the creation of Canada. And really, Langevin only had two items in our country named after him: the Prime Minister's office here and a bridge in Calgary. And the left have attacked and taken down both of those. So you now see it's called, very exciting, Office of the Prime Minister and Privy Council. Trudeau removed Langevin's name. No debate in the House of Commons, no discussion. He did it for symbolic value on Indigenous Peoples' Day. What's interesting, at the time, this is about 4 years ago, I was the only one who publicly took a stand against him because they said if we start this trend of eliminating the history to meet his political narrative, where is it going to end? We see that now. The Canadian flag, there has to be trigger warnings because our very national identity might upset people. We have to fight back against that. Learn from our past, make sure our country is free and lives up to the ideals we have, but don't erase the history. So we need someone to fight back with knowledge and strength and principle, and that's what I did. Because Justin Trudeau, you know who opened more residential schools than Hector Langevin did? Your father, Justin. Pierre Trudeau opened 6 residential schools 100 years after Canadian government knew the program was a problem. It was stripping the culture and identity out of Indigenous Canadians. It was wrong. 100 years later, you opened 6 of them, Pierre Elliott Trudeau. And who was your minister for 4 of them? Jean Chrétien. Now, I don't see the left demanding Trudeau's airport be renamed in Montreal. Where did they take their attack? To conservative icons like Langevin, like Sir John A. Macdonald statues. Even though Laurier and other figures of the day also held attitudes that are out of step with today, we have to challenge and push back against the left that is always stripping away our history and, of course, the icons. So Mr. Trudeau opened 6 residential schools. Who stopped the program after over a century? Brian Mulroney. Who apologized for it and began a process of national reconciliation and healing from it? Stephen Harper. So actually, with respect to fixing some of the broken and unfair and quite frankly dangerous programs of our past, the Conservatives are the roll up the sleeves, get things done, try and make life better for Indigenous Canadians today. That's what I'm doing in my platform. I've got an amazing section on igniting the Indigenous economy, partnering on resource revenue sharing. The Northern Gateway pipeline that Justin Trudeau canceled without consulting Indigenous leaders would have been a huge boon to Indigenous communities in Northern BC and Northern Alberta. They owned 1/3 of the pipeline, and Trudeau canceled it on a whim without any debate. So on the eve of Canada Day, let's all commit to making sure we learn about our history, we make sure Canada lives up to its ideals of liberty, opportunity for all, a merit-based society where we work hard and everyone can get ahead, whether they've been in Canada 5 minutes or 50 years. This is a land of opportunity, and we have to celebrate that while we recommit to its ideals. The Liberal Party is constantly trying to change and really break down our history and our institutions, and we have to fight against that. I've been doing this for many years. I talked about this in my launch, and sadly, in the 6 months of this race, it's getting worse. Even the Canadian flag in the week before Canada Day is being attacked by the Chronicle Herald newspaper in Halifax. I haven't checked yet, but I'm sure the Chronicle Herald is probably asking for some of Trudeau's media bailout fund as well. I'm going to eliminate that. So join me in this. Let me know your thoughts. I wrote 2 long blogs about this a few years ago on Launchpad. It's on my MP website. Engage in the debate. Let me know where you're from. And I want you to know, as Conservative leader, as someone who wore a uniform with Canada's flag on its shoulder, I'm very proud of this country. And tomorrow we're going to be doing some events in my riding signifying that pride. And if you work with me, we're going to change the Prime Minister's office, or at least Justin Trudeau's office. If you get behind my campaign and we win, we're going to move Justin Trudeau out of this office into a more appropriate office for Justin Trudeau. We've got something lined up already for him. It just happens to be here in advance. So, in all seriousness, Erin O'Toole live in front of the Langevin block here in the Parliament Hill District. I want to wish you and your families an amazing Canada Day tomorrow. We are the greatest country in the world, and we can't suffer it to be divided, as Sir John A. Macdonald warned us 154 years ago. So let's recommit to the ideals of our country, learn from our past, not erase it, and hopefully, if you're Conservative watching, ballots will be going out in July. I need your support to take this fight to the left and to people that are trying to pull our country down. I'm going to pull it up. With your help, we're going to move Justin. I showed you where, but we're going to take back Canada. That's what this campaign's about. ErinO'Toole.ca for our policy platform, Our Country, a call to take back Canada. And I'll try and do more Facebook Lives. Hope your family's doing well. The country is open, smaller gatherings. We're getting out on the road a little bit, maybe in the next few weeks. But have a very happy Canada Day.